know, this has been one heck of a weekend. You know, this has been great. And everybody that's been up here has brought props with them. And I'm thinking, man, what can I bring? What can I bring? And then Seth said something to me out in the hallway. He said, man, you're in like pink and you're not in red, white, and blue, and you're a Marine. And I thought about it. I thought, you know, I can pull my balls out, is what I can do. I thought, my Marine balls and my red, white, and blue balls, okay? So, I got my props too. I'm not letting anybody get up on me on that. You know, just not right. Now, you guys have props though, and I gotta tell you, my life has changed from the time I was 16 to the age of 50. So when they sent this to me in the mail, and I opened it up and I looked at it, let's see if I can open it up again. Because it was interesting. I'm sitting here looking at this thing and it's like, oh, I know what this is. I got one of those. That's a stylist. And for a day and a half, I'm using it. You know, and I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. This must be in the distributor kit. And then I read the back of the box. And I still didn't get it. So I called my son. Said, dude, I don't know how one of these things work. When I was doing this, it was zigzag papers. I know how to do that, okay? It's like, this is bad, you know, but we've totally been impressed, you know, but there's some house cleaning. I took some notes because I never listened to a script, and I got to look at this stuff over here because Brian's from the South, he's here in Atlanta, and he sometimes can screw people up from the North, so I gotta work with him, okay? This is not steak and lobster, okay? This is, no matter what he thinks, okay, this really does have CBD in it, and steak and lobster doesn't, okay? And this one, I had to sit back there and I thought, these poor people, he's talking about salve-infused capsules. That is not a suppository, okay? Those are two different products, okay? You know, it's been fun to watch everybody up here. And it's been fun to watch you guys out there. And when I asked Chris, how long do I have? He said, I'm gonna give you an hour. So I've been sitting there thinking, man, what do you talk about for an hour? What do you try to do? How do you help people? So as I sat there throughout the day, I started taking down just a few notes. And Brian's got this thing down pat. I mean, he's got presentations, he's got all that stuff. I don't have that, but I do have a few things, and I want you guys to write this down. Because you guys are starting on something that's probably not your first rodeo. Everybody here has probably been in a direct selling company somewhere along the line. And you thought it was gonna be a great one, and something happened. Some of you has probably watched a few of my videos because you were in a company. You probably watched a few of them, spoke in tongues, called me everything but a white boy, okay? And then somewhere down the road, they fell apart. And you're thinking, is this gonna be another one of those? Can I do it? We've already heard from people who have stated, you've got to make a change in you. See, so many times we live by myths from the past. And as I was sitting back there, I thought, man, this is good because America for 75 years has been living with a myth. That hemp's bad, that cannabis is bad, that it's all the same thing, it's marijuana. And it's not true. That's like everybody's come up to me and said, you got a pink shirt on. No, this is fuchsia, okay? You gotta have your facts straight, okay? I want you to think about something. How many of you really want this to work for you? Okay. Never want to look for another company. Want to take this and let it be your vehicle to really live your dreams. How many would really want to do that? I guarantee you're going to leave here, you're going to go back, you're going to get on social media, and you're going to see some picture, and it's going to talk about chasing your dreams. And to me, that's a myth. I think if you want to take and go from just being average and ordinary, and you want to do something extraordinary, there's a few things that you can do. And as I sat here and watched today, I just started writing down a few things. First thing you've got to be able to do is you've got to make it your own. And what I watched up here, what I watched you guys do, some of the stuff that's been shared privately with me, from the very top to brand new people getting into this business, you guys are starting to make this your own. You're starting to say, this is my home. This is my company. Now, if that's how you feel, there's some things that you need to do. Because, see, I try to listen to not just the propaganda from the company, which is pretty good after what I saw today, you know. And I have to say that. Brandon's on the front row. I mean, it's, you know, it's not a dark alley. He can actually see me. So, you know, it's like, you know, there's some really cool stuff, but you have to do a few things. You've got to welcome people in. See, there's going to be people. I was talking to a little gal, and she said, Troy, I got a guy that was in this other company, and I thought he would be interested, and as soon as I talked to him, he just blew me off. It's going to happen. It's okay. Timing is the key. I mean, I'll never forget, Charles' son sends me an email. The dude is a little stud. Hey, man, we're doing legal marijuana. We'd love for you to help us out. It's on all 50 states. It's like, this dude is smoking something, all right. Okay. You know, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, what the heck is this? But as I started digging into what was happening, and you could really see the movement from no matter what level, from the young kids to the owners of this company, they were welcoming everybody. I mean, it was one of the first times I've actually had critics that hate MLM, and that does not necessarily mean multi-level marketing. It could be marketing legal marijuana, but I didn't say that, okay? But it's, you know, as I started looking at some of this, I realized, and Chris said it, it's a mosaic. You guys really are welcoming people. See, you've got to do that if you're going to make it your own. You've got to be genuine. See, that's one thing that's pretty cool. I've seen guys up here and gals up here, and they're just them. I sat in a meeting of leaders yesterday, and they weren't just shaking their heads and smoking the CBD and drinking the Kool-Aid and all that good stuff. They were asking questions. They were putting the guys on the carpet and saying, what about this? We want to know. We want to make sure, because we really do want this to be our company. We want to believe, and belief is tough. I did a video last week after investing 20 months of my time as a consultant with a company just to have that company blow off communication with their reps. And it's like, what the same hell are you doing? You know, we've got you this far, keep talking. And they don't like doing that. I don't see that here. These guys communicate. If I send Jeff an email and he doesn't have the answer, I don't get back, I don't know. I get CC'd as he's passing it around the food chain. Hey, man, you need to ask Hussey about that. Oh, Troy, you know what that one is. Hey, somebody else. And I mean, boom, I get something back. They're taking control. You're taking control. Everybody loves it. You're all being genuine, and you can't stop doing that. Now, there's a little house cleaning I'm going to do, because some of you still like to have your little private groups on Facebook, and sometimes in the heat of the excitement, you say something that shouldn't be said, but you think it's a private group. There's nothing private in a private group. Somebody will infiltrate your organization that's from the outside, and the way they do it, and it's you'd never guess it. They say, I want to know more information. And you start talking. And all of a sudden you let them in the group, and you can get in trouble that way. I've had numerous emails. Troy, we really think the company's trying to control the message, but this stuff's getting said behind the scenes. Okay? Be genuine. Be excited. and say anything you want to say if it comes off of a company website. If it comes off that video, say it word by word. If it's in the copywriting, say it word by word. Don't try to make something up. You don't have to. Just be you. You got to be considerate. Do not let me see you guys get into some pissing contest on Facebook with somebody that says, well, we think CBD's like THC. You already know they're stupider than you are, okay? So just say okay and blow it off or delete them or do something. Don't start be nice. How many of you seen Roadhouse? Okay, be nice until it's time not to be nice. And then let Troy handle it. Or Scott Warren or Kevin Thompson or me, somebody besides you. That way it doesn't come back and look bad on what you guys are doing. Second thing here that I want you to really understand, and this is something that I've already seen from these guys. Everything matters. There's not one thing that doesn't matter if you're going to take this and let it be your last rodeo. There's an old myth, don't major in minor issues. How many of you have heard that? Okay. In the last 10 years, name one company that you know that's gone out of business, been shut down, that did not, or that did live by that. See, most companies, most people won't major in the minor issues. They don't worry about, well, you know what, we didn't cross that T, but it's okay. We'll think about it later. Everything in your business needs to be focused on. It may be the smallest detail. One word out of a sentence can put your butt in jail. And if not in jail, then it could be the SEC sanction you $6,000 for some law from 1934 because you had a video up on the internet in 2012. One word. Because the meaning of words are important. And if the attorneys for this company have approved what you guys saw, and every word is in there for a purpose, then if you go out there and say, you know what, there was a conspiracy in 1937 by the Hearst family to screw America. You left a word out. What word got left out of that sentence that was in the video? Seemingly. There seems to be a conspiracy. Just protected your butt in the companies. Now you're giving an opinion, you're not making a statement. And that's very important. See, the critics of this company, critics in network marketing that you're going to talk to that say, no, that's just a trend. It's just here today, gone tomorrow. They're going to be stating statements that they don't understand. How many of you heard about some letter that's flying around because people are saying CBDs are on the Schedule 1 list? Yeah. Here's what happens when I get that stuff in my mail. I send Troy an email. I say, dude, I don't know how to answer this. Can you send me some material so I've got reference points? Yep. And then I get all these links. I get all these statements. I get all this stuff that I can go read and study and learn and know how to address a situation. Oh man, I see where you're coming from, but I found this other information out. See how considerate I am? I didn't say you're a prick, don't know what you're talking about. I'm calling Brandon, he's gonna kick your freaking butt in a dark alley. I don't do none of that. I mean, you know, it's a matter of be nice until it's time not to be nice. You guys have something here. And although you've got a pretty solid foundation, the walls are hardly up, okay? The hemp concrete isn't dry yet, okay? So you want to make sure that you get it built solid before something happens because your reputations are lying on this. I mean, think about this for a second. You screw this up, and I'm not saying the company can't, so please don't get me wrong here. But most of the time, reps just talk too much. But if you screw it up, here's what's going to happen. Your worst nightmare is going to come true. And you're going to go home. And somebody that you love is going to say, I told you so. I told you that wouldn't last. I told you they were just a bunch of dopers, a bunch of old rockers Bunch of old potheads told you. You don't want that. Guys, you really do have something here. I was talking in the back earlier with Brian, and we were just talking about network marketing as a whole. And there's a certain company in network marketing they are just succeeding like crazy. They became a client when they were doing $72 million a year. They're doing over $200 million a year now, and they are passionately being driven by the millennial generation. And they call their young kids YPR, the Young People's Revolution. The words we use control the behaviors of the people that we deal with. And those kids act like freaking revolutionaries, and they say and do the stupidest and craziest stuff, and it's like, stop them. If you don't, you're gonna get in trouble. And then I come here, and you know what I hear? A nation, a movement. Movements change the world. A revolution may change a country temporarily. America started in a revolution, but then we became a driving, massive force that said, you know what? It's not about us. It's about protecting the world. It's about helping people do things they never dreamed of. It's about being pioneers and going somewhere. Think about this. I mean, Troy's just, he dresses cool. You know, he's good, okay? He's got a good name. You can go somewhere with that name, okay? It's not bad. But he's a pioneer. Jeff Rogers is a pioneer. Chris Hussey's married to a beautiful woman, has a great kid, okay? I mean, awesome. Chris is a pioneer. When you look at this has never been done in the current generation, and these guys are saying, we can do this if we have the right people. We can do this if we take our time to do it right. Chris and I were chatting earlier because I said, you know, this blew me away today because this isn't a little kumbaya meeting where you're showing everybody up here, hey, we're going to do this soon. We're going to launch this soon. Okay, we're going to have the no, they're not suppositories. We're going to have the capsules soon. No, everything that came out of their mouth today, here's what we're doing. And something that was really cool that we don't see a lot was when Chris looked over at the formulators, I think, is Craig his name? And he said, when are you shipping? Oh, I think next week. And then Chris says, June. He didn't say, oh, next week? Yeah, no. He's June, after June 1st. Let's make sure we get it first, and then once we get it, we'll get it out. See, there's no hype that I've seen yet in this company. I did a Facebook post 2 weeks ago on hype. I challenge you just to go look the word up in Webster's dictionary. Because the common meaning that we use, hype means it's a lie. It means you're trying to manipulate something. I just said you got to be genuine. You've got to own it. So think about that for a second. If you guys go out here and hype out this product, oh my gosh, look what it'll do, it'll cure everything. It was pretty cool with the spider bite though. Okay, my wife may like that, okay? But what happens is you overhype it, somebody will come sniffing around. And unlike a little bitty company that's got some red berry that came from the Brazilian rainforest in Phuket, I said that word wrong the first time, Phuket, Thailand, okay? That was not funny, okay? That video was already up, okay? And then the comments were nothing that I could save myself from, okay, at all. Redneck from down south definitely has never been to Thailand, has he? You know. But see, if you don't overhype it, you don't have to worry about it. All you got to do is what the website says, what the company says. the majority of companies from Herbalife down that have gotten hit in the last 10 years is because the companies listen to their leaders too much. And you know, I love the reps. But every now and then, leaders had a great run at a company. And then they started believing everything that was written about them. Oh, you're the greatest. Oh my gosh, I want to be with you. Oh my gosh, if I could just, oh, you changed, oh my Lord. And then they want to call the owner of the company and say, let me tell you how to get it done right. And a lot of company owners will listen. One of the first things they say is, let me control the message. I know how to convert. We're going to make sure those leads become prospects and those prospects become downline members. And they hype it and lie about it, and then the company has to pay the price. You don't want to do that. Listen to what they say. Be genuine, be considerate, make it your own. Something else that I thought, and I think this is very important. And you guys do this a lot. Matter of fact, you've got to surprise and delight people constantly. And to know that I was going to be up here speaking, and then they were going to give me just a whole table of iPads. I mean, Troy, thank you. I can sell these on eBay or something. It's wonderful. You have to surprise and delight people. Here's how you do it. This truly, let's do it over here. I was blown away. Guys, I could care less about this little flim-flam vape thing. I don't know how it works, okay? But when I was told we're bringing out a whole line, not one thing, hey, use this, but I want you to go to Walmart and get all the other crap, okay? No, we're bringing out a whole line. Not only are we bringing out a whole line, we're bringing out something that's exclusive, and the formula has been in a family that runs generations. You listen to her up here today. She wasn't pitching you on something. She shared from her heart. It was genuine. She owned it. I was blown away. No, this is a hemp company. I mean, hemp, that's the other thing. Brian started talking about money growing on trees. Money grows in weeds, okay? I mean, that's the way that works. So, yeah, I gotta work with that boy on this, okay? She owns that in her heart. Last night, I was hanging with the guys, and we were talking to the partners that you guys have that created this. Blown away. Because they're sharing about it, but here's something that most companies don't do. They know they've got competitors. Heck, Troy may get 4 or 5 guys every day call, hey man, we can do it better. So what were they doing? They were out checking out their competitors, ordering product, seeing what it's like. Hey, if it's better than ours, we got to improve. If it sucks, we just got to keep getting better. See, you guys have to do the same thing. You are independent professionals for a reason, okay? You're not a distributor in this company. You're independent professionals who own your own company. You just happen to be marketing hemp products. That whole table back there is 1 million different products. Now think about that. I think I heard 50 or 70,000 different products that they know of that can have hemp oil in it. Think about that. Think about the athletes that you've seen in this room. I mean, I was starting to be a little worried about Brandon because, I mean, he's kind of mean and tough. And then I saw Tony, and it's like, good gosh, you know. I definitely decided I was taking the Indiana Jones approach, and I'm shooting from afar, man, because there ain't nobody touching me, okay? You're attracting the right people. And look at you. This is something that is so cool to me. Because I'll be out in Dallas next week at a health and wellness company, and we'll be hanging with these people, and they'll have all these pretty ladies. Oh, I got to tell you, Troy, you did 2 things today that I just loved. Actually, you guys did one, and then the girls just did the other. Because you had the ladies up here talking about the women's empowerment, and they got up and started going like this, and I'm on the back row. I had the most beautiful, cute butts going back and forth. It was awesome. I thought, yeah, they got some nice women in this company. You know, it's like, and then And then Charles brings Tony up, and Tony, well, I'm not going to do it to mine, but Tony does that little thing, and those girls got up again and started going. It's like, I'm joining, okay? I love it. You guys are exciting. You're having fun. And we want it to be that way 25, 35, 40 years from now. Okay? There's a lot of things that have happened in this town. Companies have grown in this town. You guys are here, and most of you aren't from this town. But this is a network marketing haven. Chicago, another big place. Dallas, Orange County, Miami, Orlando, Tampa. All places where they love networkers. I got a text on my phone from a client that said, I'm coming to Destin and we're gonna have a talk. No, you're not. I don't do business at home. Okay, we'll come back to Atlanta. Because Destin is a beautiful place for network marketing. To bring your teams and enjoy life and hang out on the beach. A lot of companies have launched in Destin. It's the greatest place to go to church. The preacher uses circles. I understand what he's saying, okay? I got it. There was Jesus, 12 legs. We're in, okay? It works. You know, it's just there. But, you know, your town is a place to build. And if you're like me and you say, man, I just don't want to build in my own hometown. I want to be able to relax at night. I don't want somebody knocking on my door. I'm married to a romance writer in a very small town. And they did an article on her. And the very next day, here's this lady knocking on the door. Will you teach me how to write a book? The first thing you do is don't knock on the door at 7 o'clock when you live at the beach. You know. I mean, you gotta build your business where you feel comfortable building it. And this company has just done something that most companies don't do. One leader comes in and says, the way to build is to have hotel meetings. Just the way to do it. We need to blow off America. We need to go to Puerto Rico first. That'd be the place to build. And companies listen. This company surrounded themselves. And I mean, this is why organized crime's not in network marketing. Nobody keeps a secret. So they wanted 5, and more people showed up than they anticipated. And you guys blew this thing wide open. But think about that for a minute. Because all of a sudden, 1 or 2 or 3 people said, look, I think we can do this. And 1 or 2 or 3 other people said, I think we can too. And all of a sudden, you got stud affiliate marketers getting in this thing. You got real pros at copywriting. You've got internet marketers. You've got network marketers. You've got people that I've seen on videos that I'm not sure what they are, but they're excited, okay, about this thing. I mean, you have got everybody you need. You've got everything in the foundation. You control the outcome of this thing. But the only way that you're going to make it work is to constantly be surprising people, constantly delight everybody. And this isn't just from the company's doing great. I mean, the odds are that, I mean, I try not to have a big ego with a pink shirt on. I mean, a fuchsia shirt on, but those are for somebody. Now, if what I've heard is true, somebody's name is on this. Probably engraved. But the only way that would have happened was if you did something. Now, see, a lot of people love money. How many love money? Okay. What happens when the money's gone? It sucks, doesn't it? Yeah. But you know what happens when you have this? You stay a little bit motivated, don't you? I can make that money. I can do it. I know I can. I built my first organization starting at 18. And those plaques are on my wall. And I was with that company 15 years. That company's based out of Atlanta. I was with that company through the most hellacious years of its growth. When every insurance regulator hated their guts. When the insurance industry hated their guts. When a bald-headed guy, that's why I wear my hair like I do, a bald-headed fat guy said, all you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. And Art Williams built a company called Primerica Financial Services, which, because I think this is streaming live, I got to disclose that I am a stockholder in that company. Went against the odds, turned an industry that was over 100 years old, the good old boy industry, because his dad died. He had a personal experience, and his mom had to go back to work in the 60s. And he said, this ain't right. He didn't sell life insurance and mutual funds. He created a movement for hope and opportunity to middle America. Now, what are you doing? Think about that. This isn't just about selling some little product. You can change. You are on the cutting edge of changing America in the 21st century because you've taken a stand and said enough's enough. The president opened the door by signing a bill, and a few crazy people said, let's just knock the door down and run through it. And now states are changing. Laws are being developed. My attorney, who I called and said, did you know Jeff's doing this freaky MLM, which is marketing legal marijuana type stuff? And he said, no, tell me more. I said, I don't know anything about it, dude. Thought you would. He calls me back a day later. Hey, man, I bought stock in that parent company or sister company or whatever the heck it is, dude. We are in, and I'm going to see if I can plant some weed in Tennessee. Okay. You know, it's like, wow, okay, I guess I'll roll down this one too. I mean, you know, the excitement of people see it. But you got to keep control of it. You've got to do it right. You got to surprise and delight. This is something that's important. And I think it was Brian that talked about this. I love speaking last because I can just steal stuff from everybody else. But he talked about resistance. So you've got to embrace resistance. He talked about the caterpillar. Think about this. You're coming up against a lot of resistance right now. You know, my speaking coach gets pissed because I walk so much, but I just can't stop doing that. Okay, so I hope the camera guys don't mind. But here's the deal. You're going to come up against some resistance. Don't back away from that. You guys saw the trailer. Brandon's lifting. Okay. You saw Tony. I mean, I'm not going to say anything I can't see, and he'd run up here and beat me up. Okay? I mean, you don't get that size unless there's resistance. I mean, look at me. I mean, my balls are small, okay? I mean, these guys, I love having props. That just works out so good, you know. You want the resistance. You embrace resistance. You don't embrace stupidity. That's what the legal teams are for. You don't get scared. For an industry and a community that is so daggum passionate about personal development, oh, we just love each other. We're going to grow. Buy Success Magazine and you'll feel better. And then the first time somebody says something, you want to know what happens? We start shaking the pee out of the bottom of our pants. Oh my gosh, you're real illegal, aren't we? Oh, Troy, oh my gosh, you took all my money. The DEA is going to shut us down. Everybody gets wacky. Oh no, I just saw something. Somebody said that there was something nasty in our oil. Well, no, they just tried to put a different thing they got from Colorado in there. It didn't fit, but they're still smoking it, okay? This is exclusive to the company. It's right. You want to embrace that resistance a little bit. You want to grow from it. Using Herbalife as an example. Zeke Rewards had just been shut down. Telex Free was just starting their Ponzi scheme. A lot of bad publicity in 2012. And Herbalife gets hit by a billionaire on Wall Street that says they're a pyramid scheme. 3 hours long, one of the best videos I've ever watched. Downloaded his document, and it looked beautiful if you don't understand our business. So the media is eating it up. Traditionally, in direct selling, you want to know what company owners say, what consultants say, what the legal team say? Oh, don't say nothing. It'll blow over. They're just critics. Don't worry about anything they say. Herbalife's CEO didn't do that. The report wasn't 30 minutes old, and he's on the TV saying, I'll protect my dadgum company. I'll protect my reps in the field. I'll protect our reputation. We are not a pyramid, and we will do everything under the sun. They're still fighting it. But they took a proactive stance at the top. He embraced the resistance. You want to know what happened? Your attorney, one of them, wrote a phenomenal article on it. And all of a sudden, CNBC picked it up, wanted him on the TV to say, share a little bit about direct selling. And all of a sudden, a whole different perspective was coming out. See, there's a reason that Troy and the crew have put together a team here that understand the business of network marketing. That's why he's got a legal team that understands the hemp rules and the industry. You don't have some attorney that's MLM that's over here saying, well, yeah, I think you're legal. No, they've got legal teams where they need their legal teams at. So that no matter what happens, he can pick up the phone and say, hey, where do we stand on this issue? Or, hey, I just got this, can you handle it? Because my people are what's important. Bon Jovi's got a song called Our House. Everybody heard it? I'll tell you a little bit about that story. First time he sung it was in a theater in New Jersey that they were tearing down. It was also the theater where he played his first concert. He played that theater not once. They played it 4 nights in a row to a packed out house. And he said, this is our house, and nobody tears it down unless we say so. You guys have built something here. It's got a long ways to go. There's no doubt about that. But you've built it. It's going up. It's not built on just network marketing flim-flam. It's not built on hemp. It's not built on CBDs or anything else. It's built here. Think about that for a minute. Companies don't get built to become mammoth companies unless there's a lot inside here, something bigger. There's a passion, a desire, a need. Somebody's trying to accomplish something, and it's never about money. Companies that launch because the owners need money, we call them pyramids, Ponzi schemes, and we call them pretty whacked out people, and they fail. No exclusive product line to surprise and delight somebody. Nothing like that. Matter of fact, sadly in our industry, a couple guys get together and they say, you know, I think we can make a better comp plan. So they sit down and they start playing with the numbers. They try to figure out where all the breakage is in there, and they figure out, well, if we're owning the company, this is going to be good, and look how much money we can make. And then they say, guess we ought to find a product to put on top of that, don't we? Got to make it look good. This company didn't do that. You heard Troy share how it all came about. This wasn't a couple of guys trying to create the comp plan first. This was somebody who said, holy crap, we take this direct selling, we can make a whale of a lot of money for a lot of people. We can change the world. If we get this message out, Middle America may have something they can actually be happy about in 2014. I mean, think about how cool this would be, because I thought, watching that video today and listening to Chris and some of the other guys, I found out something about rich people. They are stupid. Okay? Because I'm sitting back there on my phone doing the math, and I'm thinking, okay, if all those whack jobs who had the paper, had the force, had all that, would have just grown some weed. I mean, they would have been making money no matter if oil was up, if the Arabs decided to get weird, it wouldn't have mattered what happened. And you wouldn't have had a bunch of riots in the 60s, because whether you were in Watts or you were in Atlanta, you can grow weed anywhere. So, hey, I'm growing it and selling it. I mean, it would have been, I think it still will. Once this, anybody will be able to grow that does whatever they got to do, because you know the government's going to want taxes. But think about how it would have changed the economy. And a bunch of short-sighted rich boys thought that oil and paper was going to do it. When really they could have had the oil, they could have had the paper, they could have created the nylon. They could have done all that. That makes me think, you know, we'll have to cut this. I'm just, you know, they're telling me 70,000 products, and I look at this little box, which reminded me of those little things in the bathroom that you put a quarter in, drops out, and all that. There might, you know, I don't know how hemp works on that aspect, but it's got to be better than synthetic, okay? And sometimes those poor little lambs aren't very happy either. So, I mean, there's, you know, I'm just saying, okay? This is the last of 5 points that I wanted to make. And I really, I've had a lot of clients in the last couple of years that the marketing machine got started way ahead of the technology, way ahead of the products. And every time we start looking at startups that are somewhat controversial, I get a little scared, because I never want to stand on stage and have to say, which I did in Dallas last year, if this company doesn't execute, they'll be the greatest story never told. So when I started looking here, that's one of my concerns. And we have 5 things that we look at with a company. But one of the things that we look at is, can they leave a mark? Can they change history? See, it's not about becoming, and listen, there's just a few things I hate about this industry, and y'all know I love it. Okay, but I hate this. We're going to be the next billion-dollar business. No. Okay? First of all, it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, this company's, their sights are way above $1 billion. I'll tell you that right now. So that's, that won't be it. Okay? What makes companies great, companies that leave their mark, are launched, as I said earlier, because of a movement. They're launched for something. One of the most successful companies in this town has a history similar to your guys's. And back then, it was really weird, because a guy that had fought in the Civil War and got hurt bad got addicted to opium. And it was killing him. And he said, I've got to figure out a way to get off of opium. So he created what? Yeah. That's exactly what he did. He had a need that was killing him so bad, the pain was so great, that he figured out how to do something. And then he started passing that around to other people. Then he started telling the ladies in Atlanta, this can do some wild things for that man of yours if you just give him enough of it. So then the ladies started getting it, and they started drinking it. They kind of liked it. Atlanta's a little funky town. Just walk out here tonight when it's dark, you see weird people out there in some costumes and stuff, okay? But now think about what got started in the 1800s and where that company is today. And that company missed something that these guys haven't. See, right around the turn of the century, two guys from Chattanooga, Tennessee, came to the old boy here. And he was making his little concoction, and he was putting it in his little fountain drink. And those two little rednecks from Tennessee, they said, you know what? We think it would go good in bottles. I ain't gonna go good in bottles. So, well, can we give you $1? Yeah. They paid him $1 for the bottling rights in North America. In 2010, the Coca-Cola company bought that back from the heirs for $10 billion. When I sat down and started looking at the infrastructure here and looking at how they can leave their mark, they didn't go out there and say, well, we're going to outsource everything. They said, who are we going to partner with that's the best at what they do? How can we control the seed from the time it's in the ground to the end product? How can we make sure everything's working right? I mean, this is freaking expensive. I mean, we don't need to do this. Matter of fact, there's a company here in town. They got plastic bottles. It's white label. I think we can go down to the Kinko store, put a label on this puppy, and we're ready to roll. But that wouldn't surprise and delight, would it? See, it was surprise and delight when I see all you guys getting whacked out and crazy over this little vape deal. And I'm, what the heck is this? It's no wonder network marketing gets a bad name. I mean, these guys are smoking stuff and, and then they send it to me and I don't know how to freaking use it. And it's like, what the heck is this? But turn around and look at everybody in this room. You're not running on one demographic group. That took me a while because I'm hard-headed, okay? This brought together generations. I had freaking no clue about CBD oil. And I sure wasn't going to listen to what they said because they're just going to give me the propaganda. So I called my 26-year-old son, who when his hair's down looks like Jesus. But he don't act like him, okay? He's a DJ, works the party scene, does his thing. I say, son, you want to know about Jesus? No, you want to know about pot? I guess we'll just drive from Atlanta to home in quiet, won't we? We love each other, but it's one of those things. But I called him on the phone. Said, hey, we need to have one of those come to Jesus meetings. You got some time to go have a beer or get some dinner or do something? Yeah. What do you want to talk about? What'd I do? You didn't do anything. I need to know about CBD. Really? Yeah. Why? Doesn't work as well as THC. No, I know. Just need to talk is all, son. You and mom doing okay? We're doing fine. It's all right, Not a bad day. And here's what happened. We talked for 2 hours. And he shared with me everything that Jeff had told me, everything that Troy had sent me. And you know what? This was the coolest part about this, is as he started talking, he started acting like y'all, and he got pissed off. The government did. Listen to what these guys did. Dad, you're not going to believe this. It's like, son, I'm not talking about the Obama administration. I'm talking about what happened. No, I'm sorry. It brought us together. And then I come here, and I see baby boomers, rednecks. I see guys faking it. This is what cracked me up. I'm up here and all these guys, I got my jacket on. I left my flip-flops at home. It's like, well, you can tell it. You got like farmer's tan on the feet, dude. It's like, what the heck? It's fun because it's changing people. Hey, I want to look good. I might be on video. And then there's Brandon. And Troy and I are going to take him to Buckle later and get him a collared shirt, okay? So, it's all good. Guys, you're coming together. You've got something in common. Think about it. This could change not just America. It could change the world. Now I'm gonna close, but I wanna give you the 5 things that we look at when we go in to a company, because it doesn't matter to me if you're my best friend. You screw the people that believe in your company, and every positive thing we said will claw back. Because there's a lot of innocent people that put their heart and soul into a company. It's not just the founders. They put their money in it, they put their sweat in it, but you guys are putting your reputations on the line. So when we go in to look at a company to see what it is they have, we pull 5 things from a book that's 25 years old, that is updated about every 5 years from the biggest corporations in America. And you can buy the book. Now, it is not going to be one of those woo-woo books, okay? It is a business book called The Leadership Challenge. And the most successful companies in the world, the most successful movements in the world, the most successful nonprofits in the world, all run on these 5 things. Number 1, and you guys are doing this good, they challenge the status quo. They challenge the process that everybody has said, that's just the way it's been. That's the way it's gotta be. I mean, I'm sitting back there in the back, praying that for a 3rd time somebody'd get the ladies to raise up again. But, you know, I'm sitting back there and I'm listening to the guys talk about the comp plan. And Jeff had already shared with me yesterday, Troy, I want my comp plan to be all inclusive. And I'm for that. That's how they used to be. You didn't have to come in and buy a $5,000 garage full of water filters, you know, or any of that. I want to build a business. I don't have a lot of money. Can I get in? Can I still be rewarded? Most companies don't do that. Most companies get all freaky and crap, and here you guys are changing things to put money back out into the field. Hey man, we're taking in $900, we're gonna pay out $900. Well, who the heck's paying the bill? Who's paying my retainer? I mean, it's like, they're paying you guys. They're challenging the status quo. They're saying we can do it different and we can do it better. And we can listen to the field leaders when they say, hey, have you thought about this? Why do a first order? Why not just do a fast start bonus? Put a time limit. First 30 days, let's just go out there and build the fire of this puppy. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it. They challenge the process. Second thing that companies do when we're looking at it. Because I don't want to walk into a company and I say, hey, how come y'all are doing the business? We haven't figured that out yet. Look at our comp plan, though. Okay, when did you did that? Last night at the strip club? We started counting how many things were going. We figured out, well, if we cross this over to that and that one lays down there, we got this down. They didn't do that. You think I'm laughing. Look, we went after a company and shut them down because the owners were taking the money and buying escort services, companies in Vegas. Piss me off and see what I'll do, okay? They're not as little as they look, but they're hard, okay? You have people's lives at stake, and these guys have all been where you're at. They're not wanting to do it like everybody else did it. They're wanting to do it different. They've teamed up with equity partners that say, okay, we don't have a clue what you're saying, but we're in because we believe in what we're doing. Companies got to challenge the process. Second thing they've got to do, and I've seen this wasn't something they tried to tell me. They're inspiring hearts because I get to talk to you guys. I get to see the excitement of what you guys have a hold of. And it's like, wow, if we can just keep you doing what the company says, we're okay. But you guys are excited. Robin's up here. I'm a hemp advocate. Heck, I don't even know what that means, but she's excited about it, okay? She's got the shirt on. She's ready to go. I got that Master Bong dude, and I'm sure not knowing what he's up to, but boy, he's in, okay? He's excited, and you've inspired him, and it's like, dude, I saw you on the Mod Squad in the 70s. It's like, he's excited. When you inspire the heart, you change a world. And it's amazing. Because all of a sudden, people are involved. All of a sudden, you're given $1,500 today, and $15,000 next year, and $150,000 after that. Because all of a sudden, it's not about the money, it's about changing people's lives. See, I'm learning a lot about CBD. I'm learning that there's people's that lives have been changed. You just saw a picture of a little kid with a spider bite with a little bit of CBD oil in this beautiful thing. Now think about if somebody does have something wrong and they say, what if? Let me try it. Let me see what it will do. And then it changes that. See, I don't know a lot about it still. I'm still studying. But I know I had an 18-month-old daughter that had a birth defect. And I know what I had to go through because we had to put drugs in her body. I knew what I went through when we had to find a pediatric kidney surgeon. Forget about just finding a kidney surgeon. When you have to find somebody that's a pediatric kidney surgeon to work on an 18-month-old baby girl's body because a doctor said, it's not her woo-woo, it's an ear infection. Dude, you don't even know which end of the body she's got problems with. And by then it was too late. See, I don't know if CBD would help, but I'd have loved to have had an opportunity. Instead of watching them stick a catheter inside of her and have to hold her down when she screamed. It's like, man, I wonder if that could help that stuff in there and do some, that. See, I'm learning that this CBD stuff, this hemp, isn't just a weed. It's actually a weed with purpose. Dadgummit, let me call my son, or Hussey will buy that domain too, man. Yeah. You've got a lot going on, okay? Number 3, they enable others to act. One thing that we look at is how does the corporate team work together? And I'll tell you what, watching how these guys interact with each other, with you, with vendors, from the time we've been involved until now, has been amazing. Because here's what I get to look at, is do they have people in the right places? And if they're not in the right place, are they willing to move them instead of sacrificing them? And what we've seen here is different personalities, strong personalities. Somebody said Chris is like a double red, but every now and then's a yellow. If he's a yellow, it's because that baby pee-peed on him. He is just a triple-double red, okay? So he is not customer service, okay? You shift and move until your team works in unison together. We go into the Marine Corps as maggots, and we come out in 5-man squads that don't have to think. They know exactly how the other person's gonna act. And I'm starting to see that in the way your corporate staff works. I'm starting to see it with field leaders who say, man, we're not into that, don't know how to do that, but let's put that into the game. Looks good, looks like it'll work. Let's blend, let's match, let's see what offline, online, in between, all that good stuff will do. Somebody mentioned leverage. You guys have more leverage in this company after 80 some odd days. Now, I would have known that, but I think they shared that when the girls were shaking their booties again, okay? So it's a little distracting. 85 days, and we're shifting. We're enabling others to act. You don't see the team. Well, yeah, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to put that. You're a copywriter? Yeah, I'm better than you are. So I had a client last year. They didn't execute. They had 2 people on their team that were rock stars separately. And put them together, and all they wanted to talk about how I'm bigger than you. It's like, really? Let's get something done. Your team here is not doing that. 4th thing, and this was the coolest thing. You study the background. I have a private investigator that works for me. So every time we start looking at a client, the first thing we do is, hey, I need to know about all the players. Because the last thing I want is to put my goodwill in front of a company and then have something bite me in the butt. I just paid $6,000 because of that. I'm not doing it again. So we hired somebody. And every one of these guys that you have on your staff have modeled the way for you. When you call and gripe, they know how it feels. When Chris doesn't sympathize with you and he snaps at you and he says no, it's not because he doesn't want you to do something. It's because he's walked through that already and knows that won't work, because here's what you will do. But if I kick you in the butt a little bit and you just hang on a little tighter, then it will. When Troy listens, says, I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't know if we're going to be able to do that. He's empathizing because he's been there. There's not a one of them that has gone through network marketing life all peaches and cream, and oh, we were rags today and we were riches here, and praise God, everything's perfect. Didn't work that way. You know, I get so tired seeing those ads. I was a waitress and now I'm a millionaire. No, you weren't. Okay? These guys have been there. And instead of saying, yeah, you go do it, they do it. Matter of fact, the sign, I think, of one of the greatest things you can watch a CEO do is walk into a room and serve others. And Troy, I watched you today at lunch, walk in and start cleaning the table, start moving things away so the people that you were serving would have a nice place to sit. That's the type of people that you have running this company. Last thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to Chris. And this is something that they're doing, and they've done it to me. I see them doing it with you. I see you doing it with others. Is they encourage the heart. See, when a company gets those 5 things down, they don't become a freaking billion-dollar company. Let's name some billion-dollar companies. Sears. Sears was a billion-dollar company. They went bankrupt. Not only did they go bankrupt, then they teamed up with Kmart. That's whacked, okay? Blue light special, and, you know, it's just weird. Billion-dollar company, Enron. Oops, we screwed up. Billion-dollar company, Health South. Billion-dollar company, WorldCom. Kind of sucks when you think about it. Who wants to be a billion-dollar company? Matter of fact, we could go on and on, you wouldn't even remember them. But now let's think of another kind of company. Let's think of let's not even think of companies. Let's do something. You see that K? That's a logo, right? Somebody branded that, made it good. If you see a pink logo and it's got a VS on it, what is it? Yeah. If you see a whoosh, what is it? If you see an apple, what is it? It is not. It's the record label for the Beatles, dude. Where are y'all from? You know. If you're going to do this right, then you better stop thinking like a billion-dollar business. And you start thinking like an iconic business. To where you don't have to say the name Kannaway. Freaking sounds like something some vampire'd say. Oh, Kannaway. You want them to see the logo and know. See, because you guys are more like Coke than you realize. Coke brought a world together in a bad time. The 1960s and 70s sucked in this country. And Coke brought a split country together after Vietnam. Wasn't about a drink. It was about being, we are the world. I did that because I thought it was a kumbaya moment. We could all get out our hands, you know? You guys can change the world if you do it right. If you stop thinking about it as a network marketing business, if you stop thinking about it as, hey, we're going to be the next big thing, and you start thinking about it as a true movement, we are going to change the world. Because if you do that, then every hiccup that you go through won't matter. It'll give you more strength. Every time somebody says no, okay, and listen, Brian knows what he's talking about. Don't get 3 people, go for 300, okay? Go for every person that you know, because you have no clue who that one person will be that says yes, and look what happens. Prime example, when Troy flew down and talked to the guys from him, he could have said, nah, man, nah. I think I'm gonna go sell, I don't know, socks or something. I'm just not gonna do this. You could go to work at Buckle and be really good at that. Okay. No, he said, you know what? I think this would work. And then he calls Charles, calls Jeff, he gets Chris. They start putting this team together. And all of a sudden, a movement grew. A lot of people in this industry love to talk about money. And since I can do that and get away with it, a lot of people know the name Holton Buggs from OG. Claim to fame, makes more money than anybody else. $1 million a month. He's not the biggest. See, the biggest never talk about it. There's a guy that was a basketball coach, that a little fat, bald-headed football coach in Georgia called him up and said, hey, I think I'm gonna launch this company. Do you wanna be in? And he said, yep. What do I gotta do? Talk to people? Okay. Thought he could do it. Because he yelled at kids all the time on basketball court. Should be pretty easy. Then he went out the first night, talked to a couple about their life insurance. He didn't talk to that couple. He got out of the car, puked all over the ground, scared to death, didn't have any mouthwash. Decided he'd go back the next day, made an excuse, but he never quit. And today, Bobby Buisson does about $4 million a month in overrides. #1 guy at Primerica. Living his dream. Kids are living their dream. He's not out there tooting his own freaking horn. Look at me, look at me, look at me. They just keep on changing people's lives. Year after year, day after day, 25 years after their founder retired, they're still changing people's lives. You guys are at the very start of what could be one of the most catalytic movements this country's ever seen. And if you do it right, they won't look back and say, well, they were a little network marketing pyramid, scammy little company. They'll look back and say they were the pioneers that led the way at changing the way we see hemp in America today. Thank you, guys. It's my